So am I just too harsh on these Christian movies?
Some of them deserve it, others not so much. Some of them are actually good. Oh, come on. There's some that you like, admit it.
We'll see.
Passion of the Christ.
We'll discuss it later. Greetings and welcome to another episode of Catholicism and Coffee. I am Stephen Gosensky.
I am Beth Kaczynski.
We talk about Catholicism, all things Catholic, and enjoy some great brews. Today we are talking about what constitutes a good Christian movie. Now, we have talked about films that are not made well. And many of them have included Christian films because I am very loud. In fact, when I was in college, there was a gentleman who he was one of my instructors actually. One of his talks was why do so many Christian movies suck? So let's quit being part of the problem. Let's be part of the solution. What constitutes a good Christian movie?
Yeah. So first and foremost, actually be Christian. That's a bit of a no-brainer.
Yes.
And then just, if this is based on a true story, pay the appropriate homage to the basis for the story. If you're doing it after some story in the Bible, honor the source material. Don't try to make silly creative liberties. Now, there's going to be a degree of creative freedom. You're going to add things that the Bible doesn't include just because the Bible is a little bit limited. It doesn't say everything.
No, it does not.
Yeah.
So, what are some examples of films or television shows or whatever that have been pretty good about honoring their source material?
Oh, we don't talk about it much here, but I feel The Chosen honors the source material pretty well. It portrays Mama Mary in a very positive way, and you include the apostles, you show them following Jesus, you show that they're devout, but it also shows them as human beings, and that's where the creative freedom kind of comes in.
Yeah, there were a couple of points in there that were not so great about the source material, but those were pretty few and far between. That didn't. But I mean.
Yeah. Also, keep in mind, The Chosen is not created by Catholics.
No.
Yeah. So they don't have the extended edition.
They do not.
Yes. And then there's some other Christian movies that are based on true stories or based on books. One that I read and watched many years ago, over 10 years now, is Heaven is for Real. The movie is pretty good in my opinion. I enjoyed the book a lot. It really helped form my faith life, honestly. And the movie had to trim some things because it's a movie and books are longer, and when a movie or a book is turned into a movie, they cut some things. But you still saw the story of the little boy and the dad and what happened and how the dad learned about heaven from his son who was like 3-4 years old.
Right. Yeah, I need to watch that still.
Yes.
So, okay. Well, there you have some examples. Okay, I'll go on this one because this is my area of expertise. Actually be good with your craft. Have good actors. Have your script be tight and actually good. Have your dialogue be actually decent. It would help if your camera crew actually knows what they're doing. Now, some people will come at me for they just have a very low budget. We'll talk about that in a minute. So there's that. Also, in relation to the script, to your writing, don't be purely preachy. Because this is a movie, it has to be entertaining. It can't be a 2-hour infomercial on a book series that you think is so good that it actually helps you. I'm looking at you, Fireproof. And actually be a decent film.
Yes. And if it's a good movie, if you have actors who know what they're doing, if you have nice cinematography, a good story, your audience is going to be drawn in, and your message is going to be so much more powerful because your audience is actually paying attention and they're not just like, oh, this is boring, oh, this script sucks, I can't follow the plot. You don't want that.
Yeah, and don't be a Christian Hallmark film. There's already the Hallmark Channel for that.
Yeah.
We don't need more of that.
It's like, have some depth. Have your characters struggle. That's what I mentioned with The Chosen earlier, and how we see the apostles are human beings. We see them struggling. We see them asking questions. That's a lot easier to relate to than people who have never done anything wrong.
And make their struggles realistic. That
Yes.
you can just be like, okay, I understand this character. Make your characters relatable.
Yeah. So what's a Christian film that you think has relatable characters?
There are a couple. The film Joshua that we actually did a review of
Yes.
not that long ago. Most of the characters are pretty relatable. Now, could the script have used a little bit of tightening up? Yeah. But overall, the characters, a priest is struggling with how to be a good priest. You have another priest who's been pretty battered and broken over the years and is feeling kind of, what am I doing here? Why am I doing this still?
Yeah.
Those are both legit characters and such.
Yeah, we did talk about one of our criticisms of Joshua is the characters just lack depth. They don't really have full story arcs, but you can clearly see they are human beings.
Yeah. There was something there. It just would have been
Yes.
nice if they,
If the audience got to see what exactly was there.
yes. So, I promised we'd talk about budgets. So if you can make a movie look good with a very low budget. Let's talk about what I consider the gold standard of Christian films. The Passion of the Christ. It had an approximately, now according to IMDb, it was about a $30 million budget. I did some tweaking because of marketing and such. It's usually about either twice the budget or like 1.5 of the budget. I decided 1.5 because this film was in a huge distribution issue. It was about $45 million in 2004. That's now about $78 million adjusted for inflation.
Yeah. So for comparison, what would be budget for a big blockbuster movie today?
300, 400. A bunch of the Disney films are like $300, $400 million easy.
Yeah, so $78 million is a pretty low budget, just for comparison. Even though that sounds like a lot of money to us.
And that's before marketing.
And that's before marketing.
So it's probably about $500 million.
Yeah.
So let's talk about another film. Another one I did a review on a different channel, but one that's related to this. Nefarious. It was about $3 million budget. I estimate about 4.5 because they had a little bit of a marketing campaign, but not a big one, but I was being a little liberal in my estimate. So, and the cinematography was good, the editing was good, they had two lead actors who are both very well respected. One of them is an award winner, was John Patrick Flannery. So it's not rocket science. You don't need a $100 million budget to make a good movie. I made a mention about Disney. They have had $300, $400 million budgets for these movies, and they're flopping left and right because the public is rejecting them because they are not good films. Ilya was like 200, 300 million. No one went to see it because it looked like garbage. Let's talk about another film that actually we reviewed, somewhat related to this. Conclave. Conclave had a budget of about $35 million.
Yeah, which is still pretty low.
That's a very low budget.
Yes.
It had strong performances. It's shot very well. The music is excellent.
Yeah. A lot of big named actors.
3 very big name actors
Yes.
who are institutions. But its message was bad. And your work can only cover up so much. And guess what? It didn't make its money back. It flopped. So, something to consider.
Yeah. Coincidence? I think not.
There isn't a coincidence. It's because the message for the film was bad.
Yeah. And who are you going to attract with a bad Catholic story? The Catholics aren't going to like it. And the non-Catholics, why are they going to be interested in a Catholic-based film, especially if it's not very good? I mean, a lot of people will go see a film based on if an actor's in it, but that's only going to do so much.
Yeah, especially these days. There aren't many actors nowadays who are those big names that are attracting crowds. There was the question of Tom Cruise, and he did not attract crowds for his last 2 Mission Impossible movies. They flopped. So, what are some Christian films that we like, that we think actually, fit the mold of good Christian movies?
I mentioned Heaven is for Real earlier. That's one I enjoy quite a bit. There's another one I watched several years ago called I Can Only Imagine, based off of the life of the guy who wrote the song. I cannot remember his name off the top of my head. Mm-hmm. But it just kind of tells his story and how he got into music and then ended up writing the song. And his life as a Christian, too, because he didn't come from a very great home. His dad was not very supportive of what he did. Yeah. But it was a good story. And again, you've got a kid struggling to relate to his parents. How many teenagers today can relate to that?
Asked me 20 years ago, I could have said me.
Yes.
Okay. We talked about Joshua, even though we have our criticisms, overall it's not a bad movie. It could have done more.
Yes.
The Nativity Story, we actually did a review of that quite some time ago,
yes.
But it's a solid film.
A very good story. Honors the source material quite well.
Mm-hmm. There's the Left Behind movie series, not the Nicolas Cage one, because I haven't seen that one. I can't say if I like that one or not. But there were 3 other ones with Kirk Cameron. Not the best casting. But the films overall were pretty decent. Passion of the Christ, of course. Nefarious, which I mentioned. Another one, funny enough, from the same directors of Nefarious, Unplanned.
That is one powerful story.
It's a very powerful story, but it's done well.
Yes.
So definitely things to think about. So maybe you have some ideas for movies that we should look at as far as Christian films.
So what do you think some of these Christian films that we think are good have in common?
Good writing. The message overall is pretty good. Overall, the acting's not bad. Some of these are adaptations, and they honor the source material. Nefarious is definitely not an exact adaptation of the book because of a nefarious plot, but it honors the source material very, very well.
And talking about things like I Can Only Imagine and Unplanned, which aren't based off of a book, but they're based off of somebody's life, but still, I hope they honor that person's life. I can't say for sure because I don't know those people, but they seem very lifelike, so to say.
Absolutely. Passion of the Christ. Not only did it follow scripture, but also followed sacred tradition. In fact, Mel Gibson himself said, I'm following the Stations of the Cross. And if you have done Stations of the Cross, you can definitely tell. So these are all very, they're pretty good about following the source material.
And another thing I would add is just these characters, they have some depth. They seem real. They seem relatable.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just someone who finds everything so easy or has one brief come to Jesus moment and then their life takes a 180.
Yeah, there's no cheesy conversion scenes. I hate those with the Passion of a Thousand Suns. We don't have, these films don't really have them.
Yeah. Now there are conversions. It shows how people came into their faith or how they learned or how they grew, but it's not just, bam, it's over, it's cheesy.
Oh, bam, it's over, it's easy, everything's all fine now. Unlike some films. No, they struggle, they make mistakes.
Yes.
They still fall flat on their face even when they have these changes in their lives. And it's not every single character is the same way. And then there are some who are faced with a choice and they choose wrongly and they pay for it. That's how you write. Now that you've been in a writing workshop with us, maybe we'll make another one.
Oh, this wasn't much of a writing workshop. If you want a real writing workshop with us, ask for one in the comments below and maybe we'll do it.
There we go. Anyway, or else you can read my book, Film Forming Faith, where I talk about how certain films can actually influence your faith or solidify it.
Yes, and they're not just Christian films.
No, there's only one in there because I wanted to get it out of the way, which was Passion of the Christ. But there are other ones, and they actually teach good lessons about faith and morality, and you can learn a lot from secular films. So there you have it, there you are.
Speaking of books, we have a new one that'll hopefully be coming out soon. Now this is a special edition of our previously published Advent and Christmas devotionals, but now we're going to have them in one pretty book with some extra material that has never been published before, so hopefully you want to check it out and hopefully you enjoy it.
Indeed. Anything else we need to talk about?
Check out our website, check out our blog, check out our Catholic movie course or movie study. Yeah, those, we dropped the price on them not too long ago, so you can go and check those out. You can get a nice package where we'll still go through several films and then just point out all of the morality lessons in these secular films for the most part.
There's a lot there. And of course, check out our books. We have shops and other things. So in the meantime. But yeah, also, like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already.
Yes, please subscribe.
Tell the pesky algorithms that you like our stuff. So that way we know that you're getting it. And that way you know, hey, they just posted something new. I want to check it out. Or maybe you just want to avoid us like the plague. I hope that is not the case, but just in case, you might want to just be informed thusly.
And have those pesky algorithms send us to more people.
There you go. Share the video on your favorite social media.
Yes.
That should be everything.
Okay.
In the meantime, be bold, be brave, be courageous. Enjoy your caffeinated beverages. Definitely from God.
Yes.
God bless.
God bless.